Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our reading lessons for the week. You do have reading homework tonight, so pay close attention so you know exactly what to do so you will be ready when we meet on Zoom on Wednesday. What you're going to do, and this is one of our choices from our Phase 1 Learning at Home project, is you're going to write a letter. And you're going to write a letter to, should we do it to Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, that bunny with the chocolate eggs? No! You're going to write a letter to me. Ha ha! You're going to write a letter to me, your teacher, telling me about a book that you've read recently. It could be any kind of book that you want. Dogman, no problem. Unicorns, no problem. Series of unfortunate events? Tell me about one that we didn't read together, and then no problem. The book that I am going to tell you about today is one of my all-time favorites, a classic called Harold and the Purple Crayon. You may have had this read to you. You may have even seen it on BookFlix. It is a true classic, which I absolutely love. So the format for writing a letter, and we've done this quite a bit. The most recent letter we wrote was to Miss Harvey. But let me remind you of that structure so that you know what to do. I always start out a letter with dear, and that's D-E-A-R. Not talking about the cute fuzzy animal that's kind of tasty in Hanover, but the other one like Dear Miss Harvey. For this one, it'll be Dear Mr. Thompson, but I'm going to write a letter to you. So I'm going to write, Dear Brainiacs. Then I put a comma, and I start my first sentence under here. First thing that you're going to want to tell somebody when you're writing a letter about a book that you've read is, what book is it? So I'm going to start with, I have been reading the book Harold. Notice how I'm capitalizing the title of the book, Harold. Oops, I made a mistake. And the Purple Crayon. Then I'm going to tell you some of the key events from the book. In the story, Harold uses his purple crayon to take a trip. So if I'm telling you that he's going to take a trip, I probably need to tell you where he's taking the trip to. On his adventure, because I'll try not to use the word trip again, Harold, let's see, what does Harold do? First he goes on a boat. Harold goes on a boat, has a picnic, with all kinds of pie, he flies in a hot air balloon, and ends up back in his room. Now, I wondered about this story after all these cool events that Harold gets to go through is this really happening? Or is it all in his imagination? So for my closing sentence in my letter, I'm going to write, I question if this story actually happened, or was it all in his imagination? So let's see. Dear Brainiacs, I've been reading the book Harold and the Purple Crayon. In the story, Harold uses his purple crayon to take a trip. On his adventure, Harold goes on a boat, has a picnic with all kinds of pies, flies in a hot air balloon, and ends up back in his room. I question if this story actually happened, or was it all in his imagination? Then to close out my letter, I'm going to use the closing term sincerely, and then put my name. Your homework tonight, and you need to have this ready just as a rough draft before we meet on Zoom on Wednesday, is to write me a letter telling me about one of the books that you have read during your Learn at Home process since we have been out of school. If you have any questions, feel free to call me, email me, or text me, and I look forward to seeing the first draft, yes, we're going to do more than one, of your letter on Wednesday. Thank you. Bye-bye.